Earth, Sun and Moon. The Sun is the center of the solar system, and all the other planets revolve around the Sun in their orbits. The Earth is our home where we live, and it completes one revolution around the Sun in 1 year. The Moon is Earth's natural satellite, and it revolves around the Earth. Let us explore how the Sun, the Earth, and the Moon work together in space to make life possible on our planet. The Earth. The Earth is the third planet from the Sun and only planet where life exists. It has air, water, and land that make a suitable environment for living beings to survive.
The Earth's atmosphere protects us from harmful radiations and helps to maintain the right temperature for survival of all the living beings.
The planet also has mountains, rivers, oceans, and forests, which make it beautiful and full of life. Do you know, the Earth is the only planet with tectonic plates. The movement of these plates causes earthquakes, volcanoes, and the formation of mountains and oceans. Structure of the Earth. The Earth is made up of 3 different layers: the crust, the mantle, and the core. Crust. The crust is the outermost and thinnest layer of the Earth, made of solid rock. This layer supports life and contains mountains, rivers, oceans, and forests. Mantle. The mantle is the thickest layer of the Earth and lies below the crust. It makes up about 84% of Earth's total volume. It contains 2 layers, the upper mantle and the lower mantle. The upper mantle is made of solid rock that moves slowly over time, while the lower mantle consists of molten rock called magma. When a volcano erupts, some of this molten material reaches the Earth's surface as lava. The mantle is approximately 2,900 km thick, and it is mainly composed of iron and magnesium. Core. The core is the innermost layer and the center of the Earth. It is divided into 2 distinct layers, the outer core and the inner core. The outer core, about 2,200 km thick, is mostly composed of liquid iron and nickel. The inner core is a hot, dense ball of mostly iron with a radius of about 1,220 kilometers. The Sun. The Sun is a massive glowing ball of hot gases that forms the center of our solar system. The Sun's surface temperature is about 5,500 degrees Celsius. It is the closest star to the Earth. Therefore, it appears bigger than the other stars. It is about 150 million kilometers away from the Earth and provides heat and light, making life possible on the Earth. Structure of the Sun. The Sun is a hot ball of glowing gases that emits vast amounts of energy. It is mainly composed of hydrogen and helium held together by its own gravity. The Sun's structure can be divided into several layers, each with its own unique characteristics. Out of these, 2 of its most important layers are the core and the corona. The core is the innermost and the hottest region, extremely hot and dense, with temperatures reaching up to 15 million degrees Celsius. This is where hydrogen and helium are combined, releasing enormous amounts of energy in the process. This energy sustains the Sun and eventually reaches Earth as solar energy. The corona is the outermost layer of the Sun and is extremely hot, with temperatures reaching up to several million degrees Celsius. The corona is very thin and is usually hidden by the Sun's bright light, but it becomes visible during a total solar eclipse. Do you know, the Sun is so big that about 1.3 million Earths could fit inside it. The sunlight takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach the Earth. The Moon. The Moon is the closest celestial body to the Earth. It is about 384,400 kilometers away from the Earth. It is the brightest object in the sky after the Sun. It is known as the Earth's natural satellite. A satellite is an object that revolves around a planet. The Moon does not produce its own light. It shines because it reflects sunlight that falls on it. Scientists have sent many space missions to study the Moon. It is the only place beyond Earth where humans have set foot. Surface of the Moon. The moon's surface is rocky, dusty, and uneven. It is dry with no liquid water. It has huge mountains and valleys. There are big, round hollows called craters on the moon. The craters were formed when asteroids, meteoroids, and comets hit the surface of the moon. The rocks that astronauts brought back the Earth tell us that the surface of the moon is covered with dark grey dust. Although the moon looks beautiful from the Earth, there is no life on it. It has no air or water, and its very thin atmosphere cannot support plants, animals, or humans. Since there is no air to carry sound waves, sound cannot travel on the moon. The moon's gravity is 1/6 of the Earth's gravity, making everything much lighter. Due to this low gravity, astronauts tend to bounce as they walk on the moon. Landing on the moon. On 20 July 1969, astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins became the first people to complete the Apollo 11 mission to the moon. The lunar module called Eagle landed on the moon's surface, where Armstrong became the first person to walk on its surface, followed by Aldrin. Collins stayed in orbit in the command module Columbia. The spacecraft returned to Earth on 24 July 1969 and landed safely in the Pacific Ocean. Phases of the moon. If you look at the night sky, you will notice that the moon appears to change shape every night. These changing shapes are called the phases of the moon. The moon orbits the Earth and rotates on its own axis. Both its rotation and orbital revolution take about 27.3 days, so the same side of the moon always faces the Earth. Because the Earth moves around the Sun, the moon also has to travel a little more to return to the same position as before. This extra travel takes about 2.2 more days, so the full cycle of the moon's phases takes 29.5 days. At all times, sunlight falls on one half of the moon, while the other half remains dark. As the moon orbits Earth, we see different amounts of its lit side. It starts as a dark new moon or Amavasya, grows to a full moon waxing or Purnima, then shrinks again, waning, until it becomes a new moon. This cycle takes about 29.5 days. Do you know, people in the northern and southern hemispheres see the moon in different orientations. The moon's shape does not change, but only the way it appears in the sky from each location changes. The moon is slowly moving away from the Earth, getting about an inch farther away each year. The moon and the tides. The moon plays a major role in causing tides on the Earth. Tides are the rise and fall of seas and ocean water near the shore caused by the moon's gravitational pull. There are two types, high tide and low tide. When the water level rises, it is called high tide, and when it lowers, it is called low tide. There is also a high tide on the opposite side of the Earth because of how the Earth and the moon move together. In between these high tides, the water level goes down, creating a low tide when the water is at its lowest point. These changes happen about twice a day. Two high tides and two low tides. The sun also affects tides, but its effect is weaker because it is much farther away. Eclipses. Light travels in straight lines and cannot pass through opaque objects. Therefore, a shadow is formed. The sun's light shines on the Earth and moon, and they cast shadows in space. An eclipse occurs when the sun, Earth, and moon align in a straight line. The object in the middle blocks sunlight, creating a shadow on the one behind it. On the Earth, we experience two types of eclipses, solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. Solar eclipse. We know that the Earth revolves around the sun and the moon revolves around the Earth. When these celestial bodies align in a straight line, with the moon positioned between the sun and the Earth, a solar eclipse occurs. The moon blocks all or some of the light of the sun. When this happens, the moon blocks the sun's light, casting a shadow on Earth. There are two types of solar eclipses, total solar eclipse and partial solar eclipse. If the moon completely blocks the sun's light, it is called a total solar eclipse. If the moon blocks only part of the sun's light, it is called a partial solar eclipse. A solar eclipse occurs during the daytime on a new moon day, Amavasya. Lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse occurs when the earth comes between the sun and the moon, blocking sunlight from reaching the moon and casting a shadow on it. There are two types of lunar eclipses: total lunar eclipse and partial lunar eclipse. When the moon moves entirely into the earth's shadow, it is called a total lunar eclipse. When only a portion of the moon enters the earth's shadow while the remaining part stays visible, it is called a partial lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse always occurs during night on a full moon day, Purnima, when the sun, earth and moon are aligned in a straight line. Lab Corner. Aim: to understand a lunar eclipse by creating a simple model. Materials required: a torch, 2 balls of different sizes. Procedure. Step 1. Place the torch representing the sun at the center of a table. Step 2. Hold the larger ball representing the earth a few feet away from the lamp. Step 3. Place the small ball representing the moon behind the larger ball so that the larger ball blocks the sunlight from reaching it. Step 4. Observe how the shadow of the larger ball falls on the smaller ball. Observation. During a lunar eclipse, the earth moves between the sun and the moon, blocking sunlight from reaching the moon. Conclusion. A lunar eclipse occurs when the earth casts its shadow on the moon, blocking the sunlight. This happens during a full moon when the sun, earth and moon are aligned. Artificial satellites. An artificial satellite is a human-made object that is launched into space to orbit the earth. Today, many active satellites are orbiting our planet. The size, height and design of a satellite depend on its purpose. The first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, was launched by the Soviet Union in 1957. Its mission was orbit the Earth and send radio signals back to the Earth. India's first artificial satellite was Aryabhatta, launched in 1975. It aimed to conduct scientific experiments in X-ray astronomy, aeronomy and solar physics. Mangalyaan, the Mars orbiter mission, was launched on 5 November 2013 to explore the planet Mars. Aditya L1 was India's first satellite to study the Sun. It was the most recent major artificial satellite, launched in 2023. Other examples of Indian artificial satellites include INSAT-1A to 1D, IRS-1A, IRS-1B, Rohini, Bhaskar-1, INSAT-2A, etc. INSAT series perform communication functions mainly and provide information on weather in the region. Uses of artificial satellites. Artificial satellites are used for various purposes. They monitor weather, environmental changes, and natural disasters. They help in communication by sending TV signals, phone calls, internet, and radio broadcasts. Satellites also provide navigation systems like GPS for location tracking. They support scientific research by studying space, planets, and stars. In addition, they are also used by the military for monitoring, intelligence gathering, and threat detection. India's space missions. 100th launch from Sriharikota. The Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO, is India's space agency. ISRO has its headquarters in Bengaluru. It was founded in 1969 and is responsible for launching satellites, exploring space, and advancing space technology. The GSLV F-15 rocket was launched from Sriharikota on 29 January 2025. This satellite was carrying the NVS-02 satellite, marking the 100th launch from Satish Dhawan Space Centre, Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. Chandrayaan missions. Chandrayaan-1. Chandrayaan-1 was India's first mission to the moon, launched by ISRO in 2008 from Sriharikota. Its main aim was to explore the moon and collect important information about its surface and atmosphere. It discovered water molecules on the moon, a major scientific achievement, and made India proud by proving its space capabilities. Chandrayaan-2. Chandrayaan-2 was India's second mission to the moon, launched by ISRO in 2019 from Sriharikota. It had 3 modules: an orbiter, a lander, Vikram, and a rover, Pragyan. The lander lost communication during descent and could not land. The main aim of this mission was of exploring south pole of the moon to study the moon's surface, including its composition, minerals and water ice. The mission highlighted India's growing space capabilities. Chandrayaan-3. Chandrayaan-3 was India's third mission to the moon, launched by ISRO in July 2023 from Sriharikota. It was the follow-up mission to Chandrayaan-2. The main aim of this mission was to successfully land on the moon. The spacecraft consists of 2 parts, lander and rover. Chandrayaan-3 made history as Vikram landed safely near the moon's south pole, a region that had never been explored before. The spot of its landing is known as Shiv Shakti Point. The main aim of this mission is to explore the moon's surface and send major information back to the Earth. Gaganyaan, future mission. Gaganyaan is India's first mission to send astronauts, called Gagannauts, into space. It is being planned by ISRO and it will be launched soon. Gaganyaan shows India's progress in space technology and makes the country proud. Keywords: crust, the outermost solid layer of the Earth; mantle, the thickest layer of the Earth located beneath the crust; magma, molten rock in lower mantle; core, the innermost part of the Earth and the Sun; corona, the outermost layer of the Sun's atmosphere, visible during a solar eclipse; celestial body, a natural object in space such as a star, planet or moon; asteroids, rocky objects that orbit the Sun, mostly found between Mars and Jupiter; meteoroid, a rocky or a metallic body in the space which is smaller than asteroid; comet, a small body in space made of ice, dust and gases; eclipses, an event where one celestial body moves into the shadow of another, blocking its light. Let's recall: Earth, Sun and Moon. Earth, Sun, Moon, eclipses. Artificial satellites, India's space missions. Structure of the Earth: crust, mantle, core. Structure of the Sun: core, corona. Surface of the Moon: landing on the Moon. Phases of the Moon and the tides. Lunar eclipse: total lunar eclipse, partial lunar eclipse. Solar eclipse: total solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse. Uses of artificial satellites: Chandrayaan-1, Chandrayaan-2, Chandrayaan-3.